to do a proper send off to our prior head coach. And let me tell you, we have Jonathan Stewart tomorrow night, but man, we might have the biggest guest that we've ever had right here, right now on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his very own house, it's none other than the former head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause for Matt Rhule. Matt, how are you, man? Welcome to the C3 Panthers Podcast.
I really do appreciate this because, I was, normally on a Tuesday night if you go, watching tape. But I just want to say thank you for you guys. Now it's some free time now. I get to spend this time with you all. So really, really do thank you all so much. Really
man, I know it's been a tough emotional couple of days. You've had a big time in coming into the NFL, big transition, a lot of pressure, and a lot of questions over the last couple of weeks. Just tell us kind of how you feeling as it's, I can't be good. It can't be a great feeling to be let go in the middle of the season. How are you taking it?
I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was thinking this with my family, and I like to think that I definitely want to see things through. It's definitely something I want to do. But I sit there, look at the end of the day, and I look at my bank account, knowing I'm going to make over $40 million over the next 2 years. I think it'll be just fine. At the end of the day, and I got college there. I know I can get any job I want. All those cushy college jobs, I know I can go and get those. And I know for us, my family at the end of the day, there's definitely some things that we definitely can do moving forward. But I'll definitely make sure I go back, check the tape, see what I did wrong, and make sure I have a good resume going forward.
That sounds really smart. Matt, and once again, we thank you for being on here. I've been listening to a lot of interviews from Panther players the past couple of weeks. And one of the things I've noticed to be maybe the most consistent thing about the Carolina Panthers is you always hear a ping pong table going in the background. It almost seems as though the Panther players at this point are better at playing ping pong than playing football. Do you think maybe you should have removed that ping pong table a little bit earlier, or maybe even at all?
For my guys, one thing we have a culture. We make sure we always go out there and compete. We're always going to compete. At the end of the day, you want to go 1-0, whether that's on the ping pong table, whether it's on the practice field, maybe it was on the game field. But here's the thing for us, for our teams, we definitely want to make sure that we have a fun environment for them. But it's all about really being competitive, and we want to make sure that the environment is always competitive for these guys because these guys are elite. They're elite talents. They're elite. They're elite football players. They're elite people. They're elite fathers. They're elite sons. They're elite ping pong players. So for us, we wanted to make sure that we definitely had an opportunity for them to make sure that they're still competing. At the end of the day, and for us, you got to make sure that you are always out there doing the things that you're supposed to do. And they go out there, they check the tape. They're in the training room doing all the things they need to do, but they're also making sure that they're still competing at the end of the day.
Gotcha.
Matt, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you, man. I just wanted to know, we're talking about future endeavors you may have based on what's happened in the past in the last few days. You've been known to cut a rug pretty good. I'm asking, is there any Neil Diamond, dance future for you, some Sweet Caroline? Do you have any plans in that in the future?
Well, it's funny you say that. I definitely do. Definitely have some time on my hands now. For my next coaching gig. So I'm actually going to be making sure that I definitely have some dance lessons coming up here soon. So I'm definitely going to make sure that I take advantage of that time. And one thing I've always do anytime I do a dance, I always go back and I check the tape and make sure that I got the rule. Got my steps down because it's just like a well choreographed play. You got to make sure that everyone's lined up, and I got to make sure that we have our assignments, know exactly where we got to be during each of the steps. So yeah, for us, we're going to make sure that we are always going to go back and evaluate our dance steps. But yes, I take dancing very seriously. It's just like a good defense, right? Alignment and assignment.
Right. Great comparison.
Yeah.
CK, you're up.
Listen, there's one thing that I wanted to talk about. You always like to talk about the positives, and if we couldn't sustain the type of drive constantly throughout a game, that's how you be successful as an offense. Do you think that if you had won more games, you would have been a better offense?
Well, for us, I think there are definitely some times that we definitely had some sustained success. So for example, there was a game that we lost, but we we had a drive where it was 16-play drive. Granted, it resulted in a field goal, but if you get more touchdowns and field goals, you're going to score more points at the end of the day. But there are definitely some opportunities and times where we had that. For example, if you go back 2021, we started off the season 3-0, and if you were to take that and you make, if you were to average that out every 3 weeks, you go 3-0. At the end of the day, you're looking at one of the best teams in NFL history. So it just kind of just goes to show you, if I'm able to consistently do that as a head coach, go 3-0 every 3 weeks, then it's really one of the best coaches in history.
What would you have done differently?
I go back and check tape, and honestly, we're just a couple plays here and there. Guys are in position, but for us, I would definitely say there definitely not many things that would change. I think our schemes are good and our guys are good. There's not really a lot of things.
Would you have gone barbecue sauce instead of sweet and sour?
Oh no, sweet and sour. That's really what it is. Because that's the thing, is like you want to make sure that you have the nice balance. Balance is everything, because you're going to make sure that your running game complements your passing game complements the run game. Special teams, helps the defense and the offense. So it's all about balance there. That's why sweet and sour is always going to be important.
All right, and go ahead, Cody.
Matt, you famously referenced Jay-Z, one of your favorite rappers in the world, and how it took him 7 years before he was really able to turn things around. How do you think your rebuild of the Carolina Panthers ultimately deviated from your hero, Hove?
Well, that's the thing. It did take him 7 years, because a lot of people don't realize the hard work and the grind that Jay-Z was putting in, the different mixtapes, different stuff that he was recording. And, there's stuff out there on the cutting room floor that, never even made it into your speakers.
Right.
So that's the thing that he definitely did. All of a sudden, even though he put all that work in, he kind of, again, like overnight, it's like, oh, wait, who's this Jay-Z guy? So he definitely put that work in over the years. I mean, just like Dre, those guys put work in over the years. Like Dre was producing tracks for a long time before he put out The Chronic, right? So that's the thing. Is like, I never got to year 7. I think if I would have got there, people would have been like, oh, wait, where'd this Panthers team come from? I was like, well, we've been grinding here for 7 years. So that's where the overnight thing could come from. It took Jay-Z 7 years to become that overnight sensation.
I want to stick on this Jay-Z thing for just a moment. In 1995, Jay-Z co-founded Rockefeller Records. 2 years later, he merged with Def Jams and put out one of his early albums. And on that album, he had a little bit with Michael Rappaport. The name of the song went a little something like this. There's a little beginning.
Are you trying to get a rise out of me, Agent Rappaport? Agent Rappaport? It's Rappaport. You understand? Now tell me your story.
The name of the song is "The City Is Mine." Charlotte, not your city anymore. Where are you going next?
It's funny how you bring that. It's a great question. It's really actually to tie things back into the state of North Carolina. There was actually for example, like being a big Jay-Z fan, that's where my next destination is. I know, but I know North Carolina's home right now, and I definitely respect and appreciate North Carolina history. And that's one of the things I love about Jay-Z. Is that a lot of people don't know, I know this, is that, for example, his Dead Presidents song, right? The producer of that track was a guy named Ski Beats, who's actually from Greensboro, North Carolina. So for me, when I say Jay-Z, overnight sensation over 7 years, a lot of people don't realize I was actually tying in the state of North Carolina into that. A lot of people maybe got that reference. So yeah, that's actually something that I want to do. But here's the thing, over the next, at the end of the day, I am going to be making over $40 million, from the Panthers over the next few years. So at the end of the day, I can really live wherever I want.
Wow. This, man, I got to tell you this, Matt Rhule. Fantastic stuff. I got to first, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for coming on. But if you want to really follow the real fake Matt Rhule, you need to check out Dennis Cox at The Fan Rookie. Dennis, thank you so much for coming on. Tell us first, the 99.9 The Fan. How did you get, what made you stumble into this?
Oh, so I can actually meet Dennis now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I had no idea any of those questions were coming. They were fantastic.
I know.
We were awesome, dude.
We were fantastic.
By the way, the Ski Beats is actually a real thing. No, like dead serious. Like that's the thing. Like Ski Beats actually produced, I think, 4 songs on that album. So if people ever talk about hip hop and from New York and stuff, like, well, guess what? North Carolina's got a major influence on that. So it actually started. So doing the radio show. So I host a show on Saturdays called Culture State. It's on 99.9 The Fan and WRL Sports Fan, so you can actually stream it both TV and audio as well. And I kind of just dropped a couple Matt Rhule lines here and there because I just was working on an impression, so it just kind of organically came about. And one time I did it live on the show, and I decided, I'm going to put it on social media just to kind of see what happens. Because a couple people tell me, like, hey, you do a really good Matt Rhule. So I just put it on social media just to kind of see what happened, and it just blew up. I was like, oh, this seems like it's a thing. And then right after that same week is when Dan Orlovsky did the breakdown of. It
was so good, your video.
The Panthers offense. Well, that's the thing. Like, Dan Orlovsky did the breakdown, but then Matt Rhule actually the next day in his press conference was asked about it and responded to it. And I was like, oh, I have to do something with this. So that day is when I did that first Matt Rhule video breakdown of like, Christian McCaffrey, like we can go left, right.
Go right around the circle.
Like, we're gonna let him cook, broil. And I was just like saute. So I just started like throwing all this different stuff out there. And that one just blew up. So then just kind of like, all right, what else can I do with this? I didn't want to just shoehorn something because it worked twice.
Right.
I didn't want to just force it in there. But at the same time, I also realized, like, hey, I think I actually do have something going on here. How can I use it? So I did another video breakdown after they won a game. Or actually it wasn't. They didn't win. They played the Giants and they lost, but the defense had a touchdown and stuff in that game. So I did another video breakdown of that. And it did pretty well, but I was like, okay, I can't just keep doing video breakdowns all the time because that's just going to run old real fast. Well, fast forward to last week on Monday when the McDonald's introduced adult Happy Meals.
God.
So I wanted to do something for the show that I produce during the week. I wanted to do something social media related for just adult Happy Meals because it's the first time we've ever had it. I was like, well, I don't know. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to do something. I was like, wait a sec. What if Matt Rhule goes and gets a Happy Meal?
God, it was so good, dude.
So
it was so
like,
good.
Yeah.
I'm going to film myself as Matt Rhule getting a Happy Meal. And
did you just set the phone up in the car or was someone with you?
I set it up in the car. So actually,
that's awesome.
I have a tripod that actually you can put like bendable legs on there. So I actually attached it to like the arm hang. So I attached it right there, and that's where I did it. So I just went through the drive-thru, and actually that day is when I went and bought the Matt Rhule full-on get-up, like the black shirt with like the smock, and the camo Panthers hat. Yeah, I was like, a lot of people tell me, I was like, dude, the only thing that will really take this over the top is if you got the attire. I was like, got it. So I did that, and then that blew up like crazy. And then
when you hit that French fry line, the consistency, I was dead. Like, did you just ad lib it? Did you think about it before you went on? Like,
all off the top of my head. My camera was starting to swing, so I actually had a couple lines in there. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Actually, I can actually pull up my phone. I can connect my phone. I can actually play them for you. There's a couple lines in there. Like, y'all can get the exclusive on this. Nice. If I go back and find it.
Dude, it has been such. I wonder, like, Matt Rhule has had to have seen it by now.
Oh, I guarantee you that he has seen this in some way, shape, or form.
Dennis, now that Matt Rhule is out the door, does it make you sad a little bit? You found out that you have this fantastic ability to be able to imitate the Panthers head coach, and it's like almost as soon as it happens, no, now he's gone. Are your imitations of Matt Rhule going to follow him to whatever college he goes to next?
They might. They'll definitely go out there. But here's the thing: Matt Rhule has free time. So what is Matt Rhule doing with his free time? That's a question that still needs to be answered. So I live in Raleigh. State Fair starts on Thursday.
Oh, there you go.
Matt Rhule needs to go.
Fried Oreo. Oh, you can do
Rhule
something. Remember, he's like on the no sugar right now, so you could be like doing something. He went on. He lost weight this past off season. He went on.
He just starts eating a bunch of funnel cakes.
Yeah.
And Matt Rhule will always be a part of Panthers history now, so you can always have content with Panthers fans because I'm guaranteeing anybody will go back.
God.
Oh
It's
yeah,
so
I was
good.
thinking, it's like, what's Matt Rhule thinking when he's at the top of the Ferris wheel?
Yeah.
So there are things to be done, and trust me, there's stuff that's going to come out. So I will play
All right, let's hear it.
my French fry line here for you guys. Hopefully,
so
it actually
good.
does come through for you all. At the end of the day, the standard when it comes to French fries are obviously McDonald's fries because they're crispy, they're golden, but the most important thing is they're consistent. And for us, we go back, check the tape. What's the thing we're looking for? We're looking for consistency, but also if we could be golden, if we could be crisp, then we'd be just like McDonald's. Yeah, so unfortunately my phone started swinging
For the golden and crisp part, right?
Yeah, exactly. If we can be golden and crisp, we can be just like McDonald's French fries. So that was the line. Yeah.
Everybody loved the. I gotta go back and check the menu.
Golly, that poor young woman working at McDonald's.
She didn't
having to
even
deal with
blink,
that.
dude. She
didn't.
didn't blink. She was
best
just
part.
that made it even better. That she didn't even think you were screwing with her.
No,
I think McDonald's workers are just so over it. They're like, whatever, dude. Here's your food.
Did you go back and let them know, or did they just never know that they were part of that?
They never knew.
Wow.
They never knew. Unless they're watching this, they never knew. So yeah, that was just kind of the thing. It's like, okay, we always goes back and checks the tape. I was like, I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know what sauce I was gonna choose. Actually, I was like, I'm literally buying time. I was like, I gotta go back and check the menu here because
It's so perfect, dude. Like you responded to all our questions. It seems so natural. You have a gift, dude. Very witty and quick humor.
Well, I appreciate that, and I would actually say a lot of it stems from because my schedule's busy now. I paused doing it. But I did improv. I've done improv here in Raleigh since 2015.
Yeah.
So just being used to being in a character and responding quickly in a character is not something that's foreign to me. So if you just understand the base of who your character is, you can respond to anything.
Well, you have nailed it. What do you think about just overall about what's going on with the Panthers?
It's interesting the fact that they're rebuilding off of their rebuild, which is just wild to think about. It is
sad, isn't it?
It really is because it's interesting because I saw you guys playing some clips and stuff from Steve Wilkes earlier. Tepper yesterday said in his presser, like, well, we actually really haven't had a winning tradition here. I was like, well, actually, if you go back to that 2013 to 2017 stretch, the Panthers, I think, had the second most wins overall, I think, in the NFC. And they did win 3 straight division titles. They went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, the second one. I mean, they did it in 03. It's not like, I mean, and then they went to the Super Bowl in 03. They did back to the playoffs in 05 and again in 08.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's not like they have this dearth of. He's a carpetbagger. And look, my mom's from Queens, but I'm from Winterville, North Carolina. So I'm a Southerner, you know, no matter what, even though my mom's Italian. But it's like the distance. Even Matt Rhule does that. He's like, I'm from Philly. I'm from New Jersey. I know football. And it's just, they don't know our team.
So yeah, it's I would say the thing, okay, they haven't had back-to-back winning seasons, sure, but they're not the Detroit Lions. They're not the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right.
So I don't know. It just kind of felt like Tepper was lacked a little bit of awareness. But then Wilkes today saying, hey, I want to get us back to where we were when we were winning, because Wilkes was part of the staff that went to the Super Bowl. So he's been around it. He knows it can be successful here. So I'm actually excited to see what Steve Wilkes does. I don't know if he'll get the job after this season, to be determined, obviously. But I think it's going to be definitely going to be a turnaround from what we've seen with the team, because I think one thing that Steve Wilkes even said today as well, like he wants to get back to that keep pounding mentality.
Yeah.
And I think he said it's important that the players now know about it. They might be young and don't remember it because they're new, but that's still something that they need to learn to know. And I think that's something that really great franchises have. Like, for example, in Pittsburgh, they've had a long-standing tradition of blue-collar mentality. You know, whether it's all the way back from the Chuck Noll days to what they are now. Like, you still lunch pail mentality. The style of play on the field might change, but the mentality doesn't. That keep pounding mentality is what made the Panthers really a successful franchise during different times. Yeah, again, no back-to-back winning seasons, but they did win 3 straight divisional championships, and that's where it all stemmed from. So I think getting back to that identity is going to be important for them.
I was gonna say is how many people have asked you to come do what we asked you to do today? Do you get is it like nonstop people asking? I know you were on WFNZ this morning.
Yeah, okay. That was actually, so Travis Hancock's a good buddy of mine, and I actually enjoy listening to them in the morning because I produce an afternoon show, but I do like listening to them in the morning. Plus, it was the morning after Matt Rhule getting fired, so I wanted to really tune in to kind of hear what they were saying, and they were talking about different candidates and stuff along those lines, and they weren't going to take phone calls. I joked with them. I was like, hey, how funny would it be if I called in as Matt Rhule looking for a job and saying how I'm qualified for the job? And he's like, oh my God, please call in right now. So I did that. And that was just a fun time. And so yeah, Travis is a really good friend of mine. So I did that. He actually does a really great John Fox impression. So we might actually have to do a John Fox, Matt Rhule conversation at some point.
Wow, that ought to be awesome.
About the importance of running the football.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, punting's a great play. Punting the football is a great play. So it just we have those have those fun conversations. So that's something we might do. But yeah, I did that this morning, and then actually jumped on earlier this evening with another show as well. Busted Dad's podcast. I jumped on with them as well. So yeah, chat with them, and then I've had a couple other people hit me up, which is fine. I love doing these things. Is for me working on the other side, trying to book guests and those kinds of things for my job. I know it's how hard it is to get people on. And,
yeah, it is.
But also I know I appreciate people's time when they do give it. So I try and make sure that I give back. Like you guys asked me to come on. It's like, yeah, we'll make it work. I may not be right away or might not be the exact day, but I'll try and make it work as best as I can. So that is something that I always try and do. So, I mean, if you guys ever want to have me back on,
we definitely do. Sure. We definitely do. We've been doing this podcast now this is our 10th season. We haven't missed a week. Now we've been expanding so much. We've grown so much in the last couple of years. And so, look, I want to thank you so much for coming on, and please tell everybody where they can find you on social media and continue to access this wonderful content.
At The Fan Rookie is where you can follow me. At Culture State Pod, the show that I host on Saturdays, and my co-host Chris Lee, who works for WREL TV, he's the sports lead sports anchor there. He and I host a show on Saturdays from 10 to noon on 99.9 The Fan and WRELSportsFan.com is where you can stream it as well, so you can watch it through WREL Sports Plus TV. So there's different ways to watch it. We put out a weekly show on YouTube on 99.9 The Fan's YouTube channel. We have a separate playlist of just Culture State of Chris and I, whether it's cuts from our show or podcast, me going to McDonald's as Matt Rhule. You can find all those things on there. So there's a channel of just Chris and I doing some different stuff. So yeah, that's where you can find us. And by the way, I see the Thor hammer and I respect it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so you see probably in the background behind.
I did. I noticed your background. I was like, I got to check this guy out.
Man, fantastic stuff, Dennis. Man, we're gonna get a lot of people following you. Obviously, you have already done that yourself. Fantastic stuff, and we will have to go back and check the tape.
Yeah, absolutely. I will go back, check the tape on this podcast, see what other questions you can ask, those kinds of things. It's always good to interview prep. It's all very important thing.
Thank you so much, man. You guys gotta go check out Dennis Cox at the Fan Rookie, man. The best Matt Rhule, the cool Matt Rhule, not the Matt Fool that we know. Thank you, man. We'll catch up with you in the future.
Appreciate it, guys. Dennis. Thanks.
Holy cow, that was fantastic, dude.
Man.
I could not stop laughing. I had to keep muting my mic because I couldn't stop laughing.
Dude, Dennis is awesome, man. I do feel bad for him, man. He finds out that he gets this, he has this incredible impression, and then Matt Rhule's out the door. But he's right.
Actually, it's kind of, is that the good news about it is that it's like, right.
It can keep going.
Yeah, and he hit it. He got hot right at kind of the end of Matt Rhule, and then you get this moment. He can come out and do the